Just wanted to show it without this on. I just had a needle break, so I had to undo it. And then you're supposed to slide, when you got to slide this back over the thread and then put it on, because you're doing it backwards because the thread's already in. You're in the middle of the stitch. So you take it all out, but you don't have to have it on to sew. This isn't all. It just so happens though that this has a piece, a steel piece that can hold, other needles. Whereas a traditional awl would just be the handle with a pointed piece of whatever. That it goes back to bones, where you would just have a sharpened bone, and but you could I mean, I don't know, they could probably get bones pretty sharp, but could they get them as sharp as a Microtex needle made out of steel? Probably not. So this is the next level. This is an advancement. I wonder if bone has any advantages. Maybe it does with certain fabrics, perhaps, or I don't know. Probably not, to say the least. I mean, maybe in some super specialty situation, but I mean, I guess that's kind of it's funny, that's so similar to even using an awl right now compared to newer technology, the needle, the sewing machine. Those are way different though, because the final output of using this awl to make this bag is going to be a new advanced thing, whereas the output of using of using a bone versus this needle is, well, the needle is much more precise, sharper, stronger, holds its point for longer periods of time without getting dull, probably. So flexible, perhaps, could be something. But sharper is that's really what you want in a tool that's literally for poking. Even if you have a thicker hole that you want to make, you still want to have a sharp point. I was looking at the policies today for YouTube and how they handle music. I was like, is there a difference between music played in the background versus music added to the video or something? Like you're trying to do it on purpose. But they said no, they treat everything the same, basically. It seems like it'll be okay. I'm sure there's some people that if you have a copyright, they literally won't let it play, which is, I guess that is annoying. I mean, why not just play it without audio, perhaps? I don't know. Well, the new Samsungs can actually take out music. I guess that is a good option, actually, because I do technically have the music on right now for myself. not for anyone else. So if I could just take it out, that would make it more realistic to what people, man, but they're not seeing sort of the vibe here, right? You know, the music is a part of the vibe. That's a funny situation. I almost feel like if you are not trying to make money from the audio, then you know you should be able to use it. I mean, why not? It's kind of the same thing. I mean, yeah, okay, maybe you're getting views and that's beneficial and that could be that even has a value. Yeah, it's tricky, isn't it? I guess that's when we have copyright laws because it's so complicated. Could definitely be, you know, if you can choose to have it not played anywhere in the world based on what you want, then you know you should be able to choose that. Yeah, they're not making money from it, and they're just having fun. Maybe if it's not directly related, man, how do you do that? Because no doubt music makes things better, which makes them more, you know, so you're thinking, no, you can't use my music because it's helping you. I mean, it almost have to be on this honor system where you're saying, look, man, you know, I like you guys, I'm listening to you guys, I'm paying for you guys via YouTube, and you're on. You know, what don't you want to be on? Like, isn't that sort of what we want? I mean, it can't just be about making money. You know, I mean, Jesus. I won't say a joke there. There's also like managing what I say here, because I can be very opinionated in things I think and will share with people. You know, I'm kind of not too reserved on the things I will say, basically. Especially in the name of comedy, I think. I mean, you know, this is a topic, but yeah, freedom of speech is not really doesn't really have anything to do with it. It's really it's not supposed to be mean as in hatred, right? So beyond any sort of freedom of speech is maybe don't hate people. You know, and yeah, you know, should you be allowed to hate people and say it? Oh man, I mean, yeah, you can, and it's kind of good because we all know who you are. So, you know, thank you for that. Now, behave yourself, please, hopefully, and it won't really matter that you hate everybody. You can just hate everybody in your little cocoon over there, which is, you know, and that's your right. You know, I mean, not your right. I actually don't like that. I'm saying it's your right because we could kill them, and would that be our right? You know, I would say yes, but you know, nobody wants to live in a society where somebody is making sort of judgment calls for other people about how they should live, or how, you know, there's limits, of course. Luckily, as people, we're fairly reasonable, you know. You can kind of look at that with, it is tough, you know. People love Taylor Swift. I personally, I don't give it. I'm not being, you know, hating on Taylor Swift. I'm just saying I don't get how so many people could like her so much, you know? And maybe it's just kids and parents and things, and then they somehow tailored, no pun intended, the experience to sort of accommodate everybody, and it's an experience, and she's so wholesome or something. I don't know, man. But it's obviously also relatable to, or the mentality is somehow connected to religion. I mean, maybe it all gets down to fear of missing out, the FOMO. You know, we have this. You know, you don't want to die, not because you want to live, but because you don't want to miss out on being around as you, right? It's kind of different. Yeah, I mean, people are attached to themselves, but how does that relate to Taylor Swift and people liking her? The fear of missing out. I mean, it's definitely not just that. People say she has good music. And life is, or can be, good, whatever that means, not painful, even enjoyable, right? I mean, if you're living your life every day and it's just a misery, then why would you want to continue that? If you were eating something and it was just miserable eating it, would you continue eating it? No, you would stop. No, I mean, that doesn't really work, because, you know, you can eat something else. You can't have a different life. Well, you can have a different life, actually. I mean, that's maybe that is what keeps people going, is they hope that they will have a different life at some point. You know, even if it's simple, like, oh, I can pay my rent next month easily because this happened, and, you know, whew, that's awesome. I feel good about that. I mean, isn't that crazy? My rent. What a wild thing. I mean, not wild thing. It's sort of the opposite of wild. But can you imagine, you know, some sort of animal needing to pay rent to live? And yeah, it's energy. They do have to spend energy to make homes. So if we could make a home, I guess we wouldn't have to spend any money. And money is energy. Energy you did work to create and to save. And yeah, I mean, that's true. If I could make my own home, which, you know, I was just camping for 9 nights, and I could live like that. I could, if I don't want to give up the other things, like being able to travel and, you know, and have toys and gadgets and do things and try things. It's not about that, but like, just as far as living, like having a place to sleep and be out of the elements, I don't see that you actually need anything more than that. You need a place to, you know, have garbage and all this stuff. I mean, I wouldn't want to do that actually long term out in nature completely, but being at one of these little campsites that has utilities and like services and things, this is great. Then you really, I mean, my tent is tiny, and yeah, I could definitely live out of it. I couldn't live out of it with Elsa. She would have to get her own tent. But when I got back here, and she said something about where, you know, this house is very little, and she mentioned something. I was like, well, you know, it's like a luxurious compared to where I was just now for 9 nights. You know, when I was there in that 3-person tent, that was luxurious. Although around me there was crazy tents, you know, crazy big, all kinds of stuff. And then you get back here and she says that, and I'm like, well, no, actually, it's a huge upgrade, right? You know, it's like going from that tiny little tent to this, albeit very tiny space in this house. But you know, it's like, oh my gosh, you can stand up. It becomes very simple. Anyway, all right. So we're about to start on the double reverse. That'll be that, and then I will start on the front. It's exciting. I'm excited.